The basic things are due on the 30th, the third quarter data, the third quarter data integrity report, the third quarter expenditure claim report, the implementation survey, and the plan. My information is only for the NRS. I don't handle anything that's AEBG. So if I'm talking about it, it's NRS, the WIOA program. Okay, so the biggie, I think, that's due on the 30th is the EO Civics Program Development Plan. So it's due in the office. The email address is there at the bottom. I believe I sent you the PDF of all these slides. If I didn't, let me know and I will forward that to you. As well as all of those submissions that you have to take care of, you have to choose your COAAPs by the 30th also. You can't add any new ones after the 30th that will be relevant this year. And in a minute, we're going to talk about what kind of COAAPs you're going to use this summer. So look at the COAAPs. There are a couple new ones, I believe, that have already been added that you might be interested in. But make sure that anything you want to use before June 30 is selected, and you can still select new ones until the end of April. So look at what you have and what you may need for summer. This presentation is going forward to what is due in July, and July 15th, I think you folks have not had to get your end of year data in as early as July 15th. I believe that's a change from last year, but you'll need your end of year data, your certification letter, your fourth quarter DIR, your payment point summary, and your personnel wizard, all on July 15th, which may push you a little bit, but there's been so much demand for the data that we have that we've had to bring up the due dates a little bit. But your financial report, your expenditure claim, you have until August 15th, so a complete month after the first report. If your program is ending early, things change a little bit for you. If it ends early or it's not open in the summer or is not open for all or part of this school year, 2017-18, you should notify both myself and your CDE consultant, who is either Shim Sang or Cliff at the office. So agencies are required to submit all WIOA 2 end of year data and deliverables, even if the programs are not running through the 30th of June. You need to always report your data at least 2 weeks before your program ends. And in the case your program ends early, you need to supply myself and your CDE consultant with a phone number so that somebody can be reached if what you need is not in by the due dates. And that would be we're now talking about the July 15 and August 15 dates. There are some questions that have come up through these presentations, and the first one is, may I use CASAS post-test administered in 17-18 as pre-tests for summer school? And yes, you can. If you administer a post-test to your students between May 12th and June 30, you can roll that data over into the 18-19 program year and use those as your pre-tests so that you have time during your summer program to post-test and get scores for this school year. Evidently, I haven't looked at it myself, but the help menu for Proxy Wizard in TOPS Pro Enterprise will give you specific instructions about that. If not, if you don't understand what's there, you'll call the tech department at CASAS for help. I tried to send this out early to all of you. I hope you all received it, because this WIOA 2 RFA is due Friday, the 27th of April. This survey wasn't meant to be a detailed survey. It was supposed to be quick and easy. The next thing that we have, the implementation survey. Has everyone been able to access that? We talked about this at our last meeting. Another thing that's due, or actually there's nothing that you put online except you're supposed to have a community needs survey available for any visit from CDE or program reps for EL Civics. So there's two kinds now that you have to do. One is a community needs assessment to be implemented for your EL Civics program every calendar year. And there's samples of that. If you go to www.casas.org, you'll find required forms and sample assessments. These are assessments that you simply keep on file. This is not new. It's been being done for a long, long time. The other kind of needs assessment that is relatively new to us is the workplace needs assessment. So ELL learners that go into the training and integrated English as a second language, those learners, you need to develop a special needs assessment asking them their interests in the career fields. My thought is that can't be too open-ended, because you probably need some choices of the types of workplace trainings that are available in your area, and maybe just asking for some suggestions of other things people would like to develop. So there are these announcements for COAAPs for summer school. The first question is, how do I select COAAPs for summer school? So you can use what you already have, of course. You have already made choices. If you want something new for a program that's being offered as a summer school program that completes at least 30 hours of instruction and actually ends before June 30th, you can still choose additional ones. You can use you can choose anything that was a 217-18 pre-approved COAAP, but you have to select those before next Monday. So you have to be thinking now about summer school. For summer school programs which complete 30 hours and post-test on or after July 2018, you can use new pre-approved COAAPs, and you can go in immediately July 1 and select those COAAPs. All right, option 2, agencies may use any of the pre-17-18 with options 2 and 3, and they select 17-18 for summer school, 18-19. So you can use, what I think this is saying is you can use what you've selected throughout the full summer school. Now we're back to this class instance report information, and what came up after last month's meeting, it's only 3 weeks ago for us, is that there are different scenarios that people have brought up. So this section is trying to speak to those different scenarios for class instance reports in TE. So this is a list of what we're going to go through depending on your type of 243 class. You have possibility of students who are not concurrently enrolled in CTE or training, students who are concurrently enrolled in a co-teaching situation, students who are concurrently enrolled in an alternating teaching situation, and students who are concurrently enrolled in a CTE class that's not in your own agency. So the first one is simple. I think it's exactly what you've been doing forever. It's a 243 EL Civics class for students who are not concurrently enrolled in CTE. So you just mark the class as ESL, ELL, and you pull down the focus area is integrated EL Civics. The next one, the possibility is for an integrated EL Civics class in a co-teaching environment in your own agency. So if it's a co-teaching environment, you in instructional program, you mark two areas, ESL, ELL, and career and technical education. In special programs, you add integrated education and training, and again, you pull down that drop-down menu and choose 243. The next one is if you're in an alternating teaching model, you mark ELL, ESL, ELL, program, special program, integrated education and training, and the focus area 243. This one I have a question about, and I've been asking for a response. If you notice under instructional program, career and technical education is checked, but it is not highlighted. So I believe that this slide was not supposed to have that check. So that's, if I find out differently, I will let you know. I have some emails out right now trying to clarify that. The next situation is an alternating teaching model. There are students enrolled. They're enrolled in your school. So all you do is the ESL, ELL, and the 243. The last one is if the student is in the training program in a school that is not your own. So if you're getting the training via a participating school or other source, then you mark the ELL, ESL, special program integrated education training, 243, your focus area, and you use the class notes to tell as much as possible about exactly where the training class is, when it meets, as much information. The more information you can give CDE there in case they come in and look, the better. Question 1. Should IET and IELCE be designated in TE at the class instance level or at the individual student level? So sometimes you have mixed classes. And when you have mixed classes, you're going to have to designate the information about the training and the IET program for each individual student. So here that says the answer depends on whether the students are enrolled in IET, all the students in IET, or whether it's mixed. Okay, so if it's mixed, you have to do individual students. If it's not, you don't. Second question. If IET is marked at the student level instead of the class level, how should the students be designated? Using the same integrated education and training box under special programs. So you go, if I can go back to one of these. So under special programs, you use this box to designate that information. Third question, does a class instance record for a class of students doing IELCE with workforce training need to be a separate class instance from the class of the students who are just doing 243 COAAPs? And that's yes, because if they're just doing 243 COAAPs, there's no training, there's no education and training that needs to be marked. So it is a separate report. So if an agency is doing two separate classes, alternating teaching, one teaching EL Civics or teaching 243 information and one a training program, how should the agency set up the IELCE class instance and the workforce training instance to account for the 30 hours of instruction? So the agency would then set up, this is alternating now, it's up to classes. Remember, the students will be in the 243 IELCE information at one time and in the training class at a different time. So there are two class instance records. There are more questions. In an IELCE class that has a workforce training component, where the teacher for the training co-teaches with the ESL teacher, can we count all the students in that particular IELCE class as CTE students as well? And the answer is that if it's like the IBEST model, where the 243 COAAP instruction and training, it's all presented together, yes, it's okay to have one class instance report. The sixth question, if our IELCE program is doing the workforce training with a partner agency, do we need to record everything TE for the component with the partner agency? And the answer is no, because it's a separate agency. You've talked about it when you did your class instance report in the notes, but you do not have to create a class in your system for a program that is not your own. Conferences, there aren't very many left this fiscal year. CASAS Summer Institute is always listed. If there's anyone here that is new to WIOA or to 243, if you possibly can get to Summer Institute, you're going to get a lot of basic information. I think it's one of the best teaching training models that we have. So there are already over 1,000 people registered, and I think it's capped at 1,200. But if you're out there and you need to get some basics about TOPS Pro or e-testing, or you can do your implementation and accountability training right there. They're going to talk about a lot about the reading standards that are coming into our system, and then there's networking. So especially if you're new, try to get there. CATESOL, there's only one left, and that's in Santa Rosa, the junior college. CCAE is next week in Fresno, and next December there's a CATESOL. We already talked about Summer Institute. Okay. Thank you very much for being with us at this meeting. Okay. Thank you very much.